Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
We called up Brooke's wife and put her on hold so she can listen to that song through the phone. It carries more meaning. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Remember?
It's on the radio.
Yeah, on the phone. Sometimes listening to on hold music can just be emotional. You ever cry on hold?
No, well, because I've been there so long.
Just me, I guess.
You ever cry on hold?
Yeah, he's sitting there. And
They're never going to give me my money back. You can just tell.
Some Karen Carpenter song comes on. And he's like, oh, or Cats in the Cradle. You're like, oh, is that ball? And then they go, may I help you? Oh, crap. I can't talk right now. Okay, so it's 7:35. Coming up here in 10 minutes, I want to ask you the question. Is $30,000 life-changing money to you? $30,000. We're going to tell you who got $30,000, but what they had to go through to get it. And is it worth it? $30,000. Keep that in your head for about 10 minutes. We'll tell you what that is coming up. But in the meantime, today, a big day in the Chicagoland area, especially let's go to Dalton. The city of Dalton, where it's the primary election day down there, meaning they're voting on whether Tiffany Henyard will have a chance to run for mayor in April and run it back one more time.
Hey, give her another chance, you know? What's the worst that could happen?
She's under federal investigation. She was a no-show at last night's board meeting in Thornton Township, by the way, where she serves as the supervisor. Probably should show up for those meetings. But a big election race going on today. So this is a big deal down there. And all morning, all day, the primary in Dalton, South Suburban Dalton, and Thornton Township. Now, I guess to help herself out, she launched a music video. We're going to play that right now. Now, of course, Tiffany Henyard, by the way, if you're just new to the show, she was the Piece of Garbage Madness winner last year with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We've talked about this for 2 years. We were the first to talk about the atrocities down there in Dalton and possibly the money stealing, the FBI investigation, everything.
And the good news is, even if she ends up not being allowed to run for mayor, she will still be in the running for Piece of Garbage this year.
Clearly,
so
yes. And
there's still opportunity for her to be elected and win something.
And Piece of Garbage Madness is people and things that have been pieces of garbage. In a year, we'll ask for your nominations in the next coming week here. So are you guys ready to hear her new music video to get her elected?
By the way, I love her new music video. This isn't the first one from the mayor.
Nope.
Heads up.
I want to let you know it's called Feed the People. And then and there's emoji and then a pray for Dalton in parentheses. So let's hit it. Let's drop this joint.
I'm starving the board. I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal to feed the people. To feed the people. I gave back to communities and I cleaned the streets up. I'm starving the board. I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal to feed the people, to feed the people, to feed my people, to feed my people. From Vegas to Chicago, I rode around in Tahoe.
Well, that was like...
Oh, gee. I had to stop it. What do you think about that joint?
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and feed the people. She really accentuated there. Someone walks up to her with the hands to get fed.
Oh, yeah.
Like open.
like an orphan.
First off, as the mayor, I don't think your job is to feed people. I think it's to help the city and do lots of other things that you never did. Also, was that also funded by taxpayers' money, the song?
I got to say, pretty good beats.
I've heard worse.
It's pretty good production on that one. I'm sure it wasn't from some flimsy home studio. I think it was a real recording studio somewhere.
Bars.
What's the date? When the FBI brings up her receipts and they're like, around February, let's say 20th, give a couple days of production, you spent $30,000 at a recording studio? I'd be like, yes, well, I was feeding people. Easy.
Let's give it a little bit more to you as we go to break here.
I'm starving the board. I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me
Like
like
I'm
it's
illegal.
to feed the people.
It's kind of catchy.
Feed the people. I gave back to communities and I cleaned the streets up. I'm starving the board. I'm feeding the people.
Feeding the people.
They put me in office and treat me like it's
Illegal. Yeah, I got it.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
So it is Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and people are requesting to hear this jam one more time. Of course, the election, the primary election going on in Dalton today that decides the fate of Tiffany Henyard. And she released a music video to get things going and get people on her side. Of course, a lot of the controversy, FBI investigation.
Starving the boy, I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal. To feed the people, to feed the people.
No, yeah, that's what she's in trouble for.
I remember she made over $300,000 a year with the Thornton Township supervisor and the mayor of Dalton, where the people down there make about $29,000 a year.
Feed my people, to feed my people, to feed my people.
Good jam, though. Good song.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's
A
pretty
lot
good.
of people like the song, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe we should stop playing it. I'm not sure.
It's really catchy, though.
Super catchy song. Now, the thing to remember is, so the primary election decides whether she can run for governor in April. Mayor, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's probably governor in her eyes.
She's getting promoted.
And the FBI investigation has been going on for a couple of years. They're all but a peep right now on primary day. Shouldn't the FBI go, she can't do this? Nope, they're not there yet.
If they're going to act on any day, it feels like today would be the day.
Today'd be a good day for the FBI to step up and go like, we're pulling the primary. She
Still
can't be in there.
Not on the ballot.
So people in that area, by the way, down there should be voting for Jason House. He's the person that hopes to unseat the current mayor. This is the juicy part. He's a former Henyard ally. He's been a Dalton trustee
He
since
must have taken him off payroll. Look what happened.
Yeah, well, that's what happens, you see. He's not getting those envelopes of cash. He's been a trustee since 2017, and he promised transparency and an end to both the wasteful spending and negative national attention that they have down there in Dalton. Now, he's not our famous trustee piece of audio that we have, but we must play that right. I know.
Trustee Jerry Jones was on that first-class trip to New York.
Still don't have a comment.
Sir, you're a trustee.
But once again, I don't have a comment.
Wild. There should be a reality show down there.
Oh, boy. A lot of people are now requesting that tomorrow at this time you have a Tiffany Henyard Disturbed mashup in the same way you did one for Kendrick Lamar.
Come on.
And in the same way, in 20 minutes, we're going to have a Hooters Disturbed mashup. That was heavily requested.
That's done. I got that one done.
Off the list.
That's a Kenzie request.
You're going to do one of these every day.
The Hooters TV commercial Disturbed mashup coming up at 8:09 today.
Don't miss that. You're going to want to stay in your car.
What a show. But in 3 minutes after Green Day, is $30,000 life-changing money to you if you had to go through something? Well, we're going to tell you what somebody went through to get $30,000, and we'll have that coming up in 3 minutes after Green Day. Brian and Kenzie, Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and $30,000. Is that life-changing money to you? It sounds like it'd be incredible to get $30,000 handed to me right now, but you have to go through something horrific. And before we get into this discussion, we want to tell you there's a really incredible plot twist at the end of our discussion, so hang till the end here. And we're talking about the Delta plane that crashed. And just to remind you what happened, the Delta plane up in Toronto crashed upside down and everybody lived. That's going to relate to our ending point here of this conversation. But here's the tower audio of that once again. It kind of sounds like the Cubs World Series audio when they won the World Series after 108 years. Very casual situation here of a plane crashing.
Clear to land, 23, Endeavor, 4890. We're going to Wingham.
Wingham, okay. No problem. Are you able to go to 2000?
We can give it a try for the weather list at 1 minute back.
This airplane just crashed at 23. Flight 1 minute back. I got no traffic here, so just let me know what you'd like to do. We just had a crash on runway 23 here.
Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft there's upside down and burning.
Like the phone call's boring. Like I would have stopped paying attention. You know when someone's talking and they're like monotone, so you stop listening?
Yeah.
This is why you can't do air traffic control. Because I would have tuned out and then, yep, you're all clear, whatever. I mean, it was so boring.
It crashed. Let me know what you want to do. Yep, it's upside down and it's burning. Let me know what you want to do. Incredible.
On fire.
So that plane crashed in Toronto at Toronto Pearson Airport, and that video was insane how it flipped over, caught on fire. All crew and passengers on that flight lived. And Delta offered passengers immediately $30,000 each in compensation.
Which I don't know if it's good or not. I mean, I suppose you lived, and if you didn't have any medical bills, if you weren't injured, like you're just $30,000 on top, I suppose. right?
Yeah, the real curiosity to me is I've wondered what people got in the past. And then sadly, this is a very, very ghoulish thing to say, but mostly when there's a plane crash, everybody dies. So you never hear about any payout. It might happen years later. I've never heard of a payout like that before.
Or maybe they cover like certain specific things for the family. Like it may be tailored to what, like funerals or something. I don't know.
But I just picture the people in Delta, the suits, if you will, that run a conference room table. So the plane crashed. What do we give them? And probably some old stodgy guy with a mustache, a gray mustache, said, $500 should cover it each, right, for everybody? I think $500 is fine, right?
Voucher for a free flight.
I'll tell you what, free extra snacks on a flight over 2 hours.
They can upgrade. Economy Plus next time.
But I think somebody said, sir, the plane flipped upside down, caught on fire, and they all lived. I think we need to up the ante a little bit. And he said, okay, fine, $30,000 a person.
Final offer.
Just doesn't go with that.
Don't come back.
Because I think it's a weird number to come up with, $30,000. It seems to me that it's a number that would stun you and go, okay, yes, that's awesome, thank you. And you accept it before you sit and think about it and go, wait, I lived in a plane crash. It should be higher.
Well, instinctually, let's say you were on that plane. What's the first number that comes to your head of your desired payout?
Well, I'm trying to buy a house, so $600,000.
Specific? Okay, all right, good to know.
Brian said, and cover the realtor.
I go by Cubs John Lester's house every day. I want it. It's $3.some million. I think I can put $600,000 down, at least get a down payment on it. I'll never be able to cover the payments.
No, that sounds like an awful deal for you. You came up with that.
But at least I can live there before I get evicted for like 6 months.
Kenzie, is there a number that comes to mind for you?
It's crazy. It's like, how much is your life worth? They put you in a life-threatening scenario. So when you think of it like that, like 30,000 is not even close, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, was this 100% avoidable by Delta, or is it like, well, that's like natural and things happen, so you're lucky you're getting anything?
That's what'll probably go. No, there's lawsuits and there's federal lawsuits on the way coming. So that 30,000. I guess maybe they say you got to sign this paper right now for $30,000, and probably says
and
you can never
that's
sue
what I
us.
wonder.
Yeah.
Did they get pressured into this because you're so shocked? You're like, oh, thank you, and then like you found out that you probably could have gotten like $1 million or something. Because I would think maybe you should be getting installments, like when you win the lottery. Not that any of us have, but I've heard stories that you can choose money, or you can choose to get paid a certain amount for the rest of your life, right?
And everybody takes the payout because they want the money now.
Right,
it's
like,
less.
what if something happens, right?
Yeah.
But you think Delta would be like, we have to give you guys $30,000 forever or something.
Yeah, or like free flights for the rest of your life, maybe.
Yeah,
but
like,
that's a gamble. The plane crashed.
Yeah.
I'd probably take the train if I could from here on out.
Yeah, no, I think I would fly less after that. But I mean, yeah, I wonder, truly, could you have gotten $500,000 to $1 million if Delta put your life in danger? If it was their fault, and that's a huge, like, if anyone's listening who's like, it wasn't, like, the goose flew into something, okay, that's fine. No, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Well, the real interesting thing is, here's what we told you we would tell you, is tomorrow on the show at this time, this is incredible. The odds of this happening, unbelievable.
Some would say higher odds than a plane crash happening.
Higher odds than getting $30,000 thrown in your lap. Kenzie, her dad's friend was on this plane.
Not only his friend, his coworker, and he lives in his neighborhood.
This is insane, and we're going to have him on the show tomorrow at this time at 7:50 to talk about what that 30,000. How much maybe it's a non-disclosure agreement. I don't know. We'll find out everything about that 30,000 and what it was like to be on a plane that crashed and lived. The rarity of that is mind-boggling.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what? I've worked this job my whole life. So I think I was like 17 or 18 when I became a radio station intern. Okay, I'm 29 right now. So I've been doing this like 11, 12 years, my entire adult life. Like immediately out of high school, I was a radio intern, okay, and then went to school for broadcasting, right? Mm-hmm. And my dad says to me, and we were talking about the Delta thing because my dad travels every week for work, okay? And it makes me nervous. And I'm like, oh my God, all this plane stuff, just whatever. Can't you travel like a little less right now, whatever? And he goes, oh, my neighbor, like my friend, coworker, neighbor who lives near me. And I go, yeah. He goes, he was on that plane. He's been on like Fox News and stuff. And I go, oh. I go, You didn't think to bring that up to me to bring him on the show? Like, I have a show, Dad.
Yeah. Fox News first. Boo.
He's like, oh, yeah, I'll ask
Boo.
him. So what's cool is this guy that we're going to have on tomorrow actually grew up kind of in the, like, Racine, like, Kenosha area. And when my dad reached out to him and, like, explained, like, hey, my daughter lives in Chicago. She does a morning show. The radio station's called Q101. He goes, that was my favorite radio station. I'll do it if I can get a shirt.
All right, we'll give him a shirt.
Anyways, I understand why Delta was able to settle up for $30,000. He asked for nothing besides the shirt.
Well, we'll get him a Q101 shirt, a sticker.
Yes, the whole thing.
Let's give him, he probably has 2 cars. Let's give him 2 stickers.
There you go.
A keychain.
One of the pint glasses at St. Patrick's Day.
Let's give him one of those.
Yeah.
He needs a whole bundle package. He's been through a lot.
Oh, that's above my pay grade. I can't help you with that.
We probably have like an old Stroke CD we can give him, like maybe like a Bush single.
We'll give him a 2017 Twisted t-shirt.
Yeah, 2014 picnic poster, that's his. There's probably like a K-Flay No Dose Show poster.
Do we have any hats?
We have some hats back there.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Throw in a hat. It's chilly in Minneapolis where you live.
So tomorrow, right at this time, at 7:50, we'll get him on the phone, and we'll talk to Kenzie's dad's friend and coworker that was on the Delta flight that crashed and went upside down, and we'll talk about that $30,000.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 coming up in about 8 minutes at 8:20. Not only Kenzie Crimes on the way, but we'll give you that Pearl Jam keyword for the VIP trip to Nashville, just about 8 minutes away. Stay right here, and this is exciting. Yesterday at this time, we were talking about Hooters. We were pouring one out because they're $300 million in debt, trying to keep it alive, especially that one on Higgins Road and Wells downtown. Some of my favorite locations in the city of Chicago, my landmarks. So Kenzie brought the idea after Case came up with a 2010 Hooters commercial that it needed some kind of oomph. Is that a correct assessment, Kenzie, of what you were looking for?
It sounds like a very old commercial. It sounds like something like from like our childhood. And if we're doing the goth thing, I just think a little Disturbed, like, wah, in the middle of the Hooters. I feel like you could do that.
Well, you ask, and I went to my beat laboratory last night.
Locked in.
And here you go. This is a commercial for Hooters from 2010, mashed up with some Disturbed to give it more oomph.
You gotta get down to Hooters. Have a drink, catch the game, get yourself some awesome wings. It's the place to do your thing. You gotta get down to Hooters. Here she comes, a girl next door, hanging with good friends and more. Come on, what you waiting for? You gotta get down to Hooters. So get on up and get on down to Hooters.
It does sound a little like he's choking on his food at Hooters.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and no information yet with the polls open down in Dalton for the primary election going on to see if Tiffany Henyard, we've talked about her for 2 years, and the FBI investigating the corruption down there in Dalton under her reign, if she will be able to run in April for the election. So to see if she gets voted in today. Well, I'm sure Lauren will follow it all day long, and Brian Phillips as well down in Dalton to see what happens down there. Now, we actually played this audio earlier of Tiffany Henyard. By the way, a #1 overall seed in Piece of Garbage Madness last year. People and things that are pieces of garbage in the past year. So she won last year, actually. And this is a song she dropped to gain, I guess, loyalty, votes.
Support to soar the charts as well.
We're trying to figure out if this is going to be in rotation or not. If we're sampling it, obviously.
She dropped this just a couple days ago to get people on her side.
I'm starving the boy, I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal. To feed the people, to feed the people. I gave back to communities and I cleaned the streets up. I'm starving the boy, I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal. To feed the people, to feed the people. To feed my people, to feed my people. From Vegas to Chicago, I roll around in Tahoe.
Boy, do I want to know the rest of the incriminating paragraph she was about.
It did get cut off quickly.
Why are you in a Tahoe in Vegas? Wait a minute.
Didn't age well with some of the stuff that came out in the investigation. Now, Sam in Chesterton checked in and heard that jam an hour ago and said, I think this is certainly a song that Brian should do in his Bane voice.
Oh, we haven't heard the Bane voice in a while.
I've kind of had that on rest for a while.
Well, it's hard on your throat being Bane and all.
It's very difficult. Also, fighting crime and causing havoc is what I've been doing. So I think we'll pull it out for this one. We've transcribed the song. So this is how that song would sound if Bane did it from Batman. So let's get some Bane music up here.
Oh, thank you, Sam in Chesterton. What a delightful surprise.
I'm starting the bird, and I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like I'm illegal to feed the people. To feed the people. I gave back to communities and I cleaned the streets up. Starting the board, I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal. To feed the people. To feed the people. To feed my people. To feed my people. From Vegas to Chicago, I roll around in Tahoe.
There you go for the people of Chesterton. Tiffany Henyard song and Bane doing.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.